What's going on?
How are you, dude? Can you grab me one too, Nick? Pin video. How are you, dude?
You know what? I was gonna wear my sweatshirt that you guys gave me.
Oh yeah. Well,
Fucking hoodie.
it's all we wear, man. All I wear now is like my own. It's like wearing your own
you're
band.
way too dressed
What
up
the
for
fuck's going on?
quarantine.
Yeah, you got the.
What was that,
You're way too dressed up. Why? What are you doing here?
dude? I'm doing this shit all day, man.
Yeah.
I got you guys. I got like way more Fox shit. I got all sorts of press.
Oh, okay. That was nice
So
of you to be
they
like,
were like,
just
they
so
were
you know,
like,
I
hey,
didn't dress
dress-
up for
dress-
you.
Yeah.
right. Sorry to burst your bubble.
I was just watching on YouTube a compilation of you dancing in the '90s, my friend, and it's glorious.
Fucking glorious, right? It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
90210.
Yeah, no, I throw down.
You've got the way too big baggy button-up shirt tucked in, and you're doing like the
As
Vanilla
everyone
Ice.
did
Yep.
at that time. Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
doing like the Vanilla Ice, MC Hammer type of dance moves, and it is fucking spectacular, man.
I think I had some dance moves from New Kids on the Block
Yes.
too that I had.
It felt
I
very
still
much that
had.
way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you're doing
Yeah.
a scene like that, I mean, I would be so fucking embarrassed.
You understand?
Like,
You're asking me a question like I just shot that scene yesterday, and that was 30 years ago.
30
right?
years ago. But in general,
I just want to make sure that we're clear that you're on the right page.
I've just always
that
thought
you're on the right.
I
that
could
you didn't
never,
jump in your DeLorean and like go back 30 years to when the show was made.
No, I just think like when I see those scenes where someone has to sing or dance or perform in some way, and you know there's a whole crowd, there's your cameraman and everybody just being like, okay, dude, like dance fucking sexy or serenade this person like romantically, and it's like you just have to do it. That seems impossible to me.
Yeah, it sucked. It wasn't natural at all.
Yeah.
I like the most unnatural shit to do are love scenes with people because they're not, people watch and they think like, oh man, you got to make out with so-and-so. And it's like, man, I did that like 30 times. And it was like, they were worried about lighting and making sure the head's the right way. And, if we were doing scenes like in a bed, if you ever really look at them, like the pillows are all propped up in weird ways because you've got to make sure that you're seen by the cameras. It's
so unnatural.
It's so unnatural.
I like how you both worry about the embarrassment for be it dancing or lovemaking. And I'm always just like, man, I hope they only have to shoot that once because I don't have the stamina for a couple of scenes like that. If I got to hump you 30 times, guess what? I'm going to need a nap.
My back hurts. my knees are killing me. I really need to do this reconstructive surgery now.
I'd be just fucking dripping sweat. Like, you're making it a little too real, John.
God. Well, what's that like, though?
You're not seeing my hair plugs, are you?
There are definitely times too, though, when you're watching a movie that's like, you can tell when someone's just kind of like, all right, that's a movie kiss, and then other times they're like going at it. Is that like you have maybe like an agreed upon thing with the girl or the guy being like, yo, hey, we're gonna go after this one, or like how come sometimes they look a little real and sometimes they look very, very unnatural?
I think that depends on the situation. Like if I knew I was going to be doing a scene with somebody that's seeing somebody that like everybody knows about, then you slow it down a little bit. But if not,
let it rip.
And you're single, time to mingle. Time to throw down.
So whenever there's these like on set romance, I feel like this is naturally going to happen, right? If you're like you're saying you're single, she's single, like.
Well, and people always ask me like, why do you pick actresses or whatever? It's like, because that's the only place I go.
Right.
Where else am I supposed to meet somebody? If I don't go to bars if I don't surf, my chances of getting attacked by a shark are pretty slim. So it's like, that's, of course that's the pool that I'm dating in. I'm dating in the pool that I'm around.
No
that's
doubt.
that's what it is for me.
That was like a viral tweet on Twitter the other day. Like, reminder, like, don't date your coworkers. And I was like, that's the only people I've ever dated.
Well, yeah, guess what? That's the only place that I go.
Right,
like
exactly.
That's literally, those are the only people that I meet.
And when I'm in public, I'm terrified to talk to new people. You have to be forced to talk to me in order to be remotely
When I'm in public
appealing.
and I'm wearing this like bubble costume, it's really hard to connect to anybody.
So what's up with the Masked Dancer? I mean, obviously, Masked Singer had tremendous success, and we also just watched a clip of you in that giraffe fit when you were on the Masked Singer. That was something.
In that super sexy clip of me in the giraffe costume.
I bet all the girls were lining up after that one.
Giraffes are a big buy this Christmas season. The show is really fun, man. Doing the Masked Singer, I hadn't really watched the show a lot before then, and it's a really cool experience, like being in the world of what I've done for so long. Like, I've been an actor so long, and I lost my anonymity so long ago that I just don't remember the point where I could go into a store and not think, oh, at some point, somebody is going to go, oh, hey, there's the guy from whatever. So when you do a show, when you're a contestant on something like Singer and you're in a costume, and all of a sudden you have your anonymity back, cool. It's a really cool experience. And they do it really well there. Like there were only maybe 4 people that knew it was me in the costume. There was the music supervisor, the person that I was doing my vocal training with, the executive producer, and then the producer of this season of the show. Everyone else referred to me as Giraffe. So like everywhere I walk, like on stages to do like photo stuff or whatever, they had only seen me in costume, and I was only the Giraffe. From everyone, like director, everyone was like, "Oh, hey, Giraffe's here," and I was like, you know, you're all of a sudden you can't speak,
right?
So you're like, you know, a Disneyland character. You're like in costume, doing all like the hand waves and you're miming everything you can. And
it's like you turn into a furry.
Really, it's. I love that you threw it back to furry.
That's how they feel.
You just cut your listening audience in half. They were like, "We have no idea what you're talking about." So, but it was cool, like that whole experience. So then, you know, dancer is that even more so. Like I had the opportunity I was anonymous, but because I was singing and doing all of that, you're still a little self-conscious of that, because once you take off the mask, that everyone's going to look back and go, okay, well, how was he singing? And how, like, there's that connection. You're going to be judged by it. I feel like dancer is so much more anonymous. Like if somebody said, all you have to do is show up in a costume and dance and do choreography, you just get to the point where you completely let go, because you have no insecurities at all. Like you just get to act like an asshole for,
to be clear,
for an hour.
You're saying this because you're a good dancer? Because I think a lot of fucking people would be very insecure about dancing.
No,
I know I would. Would
no.
you be?
If I had a mascot, I'd be like Frankenstein and
Let
Big
it
Daddy.
rip, yeah.
I'd just be like, let's go, baby.
You can't
see, but think about it though. Like on Halloween, when you put on a costume,
right,
you have tons of fun.
Yeah,
because you're like, I have a costume on.
Yeah, that's true.
And you even these ridiculous costumes that you buy at like costume shops that are like, hey, we're a ham and cheese sandwich, and I'm with somebody else, or I'm mustard, and he's ketchup. Like that's you act like an idiot because nobody knows it's you. They've got this little cutout of your face. So it's the same kind of thing. Like when we were on the panel on Dancer, and we're trying to figure out who's in the costumes, you've got, even though I'm confident as a dancer, I'm not a dancer per se. Like I'm not used to being in like dance productions and being, and having choreography done and all of that. Like I enjoy dancing, but you watch people and you go, okay, that's right away, that's a trained dancer. Right. That's somebody that's a gymnast. That's somebody that's an ice skater. That's somebody that's physically fit. That's somebody that's older and not. Like, this is the first time they've done it. And so you start narrowing down the field based on that. Like, at first I thought in my head, like, oh, it's going to be really hard figuring out who's in a costume based on just dancing. But you actually can learn a lot by that. Like, when you're forced to just focus on that, there's a lot of information that can come from that. And we have this one thing on the show called Word Up, where the contestant, each episode, they give us a word in the microphone. We don't alter their voice at all. So, and they say a word that's sort of a clue based on their lives. So if you are really sort of leaning in one direction towards, I think it's this person, and then all of a sudden you hear him speak, and it's obviously not that person's voice. Like, you could think it's Mike Tyson the whole time, and then you hear this dude talk with a bassy voice, and you go, okay, that's not Mike Tyson.
Right.
All of a sudden, you have to rethink what, their word is Grammy. You're like, okay, now right away, it's somebody with a deep voice that's either performed on the Grammys, has won a Grammy, has some connection with Grammys.
There's an art form to it, huh?
Yeah, it's like you're playing adult Clue.
Yeah, it's like adult Guess Who.
Really, Guess Who, yeah.
It's really fun. And to be a panelist, much like an audience member, the clue packages really they really mean a lot, and they're really well thought out on this show. Like, we as a panel, we did a lot better on this in this first season than we thought we would. We thought it would be a lot harder than it ended up being, because it changes the way you think, the way you see things.
This is some deep shit, man. This is deeper than I ever thought the Masked Dancer would go. Once you learn like what to look for and what things mean a lot, you can start watching clue packages. And like, it's sort of like if you're putting a fantasy sports team together, and like, okay, these are stats, but these are things that I look for. This dude is a really good runner, aside from like what his stats are. So, I want that, or I want. So when you start looking for those things with like, you have a finely tuned eye for it, then those little things really make sense. And I would start seeing people and go, okay, that's footwork that reminds me more of somebody that is from this line of work than this line of work. Damn, man.
And then you start getting excited. Yeah, it gets really fun. And
I hope you get like a bonus if you get it right, because you're like Belichick out here, like studying tape and shit, dude.
So that's thanks. That's the thing though that got really fun about the show, was figuring out like what is your lane and what isn't. Like, when their clues kept leaning and talking about or referencing TikTok, I was like, I don't even understand TikTok.
Jake Paul.
But Ashley Tisdale, that's her lane. Like, that's, go for it, Ashley. Like, I'm going to follow whoever you think it is. But this is somebody this is in my lane. This is somebody in music, or this is somebody that's, in sports, in the way that like I see that, like, I really think that it's this person. And so people would follow. So we would follow each other. So it wasn't because you don't win anything. You're not like, oh, I guess the most people, so I win a thing also. It's just like you feel cool because you did.
Yeah, right.
So there's no ego really in that. I mean, you kind of feel like a moron if you don't guess one and everybody else has. Because you feel like I really suck at this game.
Brian, I went my whole school career being the guy who didn't work on the group project. So I'd be just fine not contributing.
You guys do the work.
Yeah, you guys nailed it. Great work. My check still cleared? Beautiful.
Whatever, all good.
I got a question. The anonymity seems to be like a pretty important aspect here, and you mentioned it earlier how you kind of lost yours. What's the craziest thing you've done to like kind of stay anonymous? And I asked that because when you mentioned how you lost your anonymity, it reminded me of Theo Epstein, the old Red Sox GM. And what he used to do was he would, when he realized that a couple or a family didn't recognize him in the street, he would just follow them home. And he would just hang out outside their house because he was like, at least these people don't know me. and it feels good to be not known.
Fucking lunatic.
That's just ridiculous.
He's an absolute lunatic. So you ever follow any children home, Brian?
Yeah. Even if I did, I don't know if I would talk about it. I don't know. Anonymity.
Are you ever in
he's also left Fenway Park in a gorilla suit. Like he just had he was the mass GM, yeah. And he just walked out amongst the people to get to his car.
I would assume a really cool job to have at a stadium is a mascot. Like that's got to be really fun.
No way, dude. What are you nuts?
Just hyping up the crowd and then
stamina comes into play again here. It's a running theme in my life, Brian.
Yeah, but I don't
have the energy for that.
When they're doing the t-shirt gun and shit, I would love that.
And
I don't need the dancing, but just the blasting people.
All right, the t-shirt gun, fine. That's a fun 5 minutes. The rest of the time, you're taking pictures. Right. And it's either fucking drunk dudes jokingly molesting you or little kids fucking pulling at your dick. There's nothing fun happening here. People just grabbing at things. People treat you. That's why I was actually thinking while you were explaining how everyone just referred to you as Giraffe. I'd have an identity crisis. I'd be like, I'm a man. My name's Brian. Stop.
I've earned this.
That was one of the funniest things when I went back to do Dancer was because it's majority of the same crew that does Singer that they kept for Dancer. It's the same stage and everything. So a lot of people referred to me as Giraffe when I first got there. And I would get in people's faces and be like, I'm a person. My name is Brian.
Not anymore.
It's me.
Not anymore.
So, funny. Yeah. Stop calling me Giraffe.
All right.
Pull out my wrestling voice, my monster truck voice.
You feel people being rude to you.
We're going to play a little Answer the Internet here with you. We got hypothetical questions from our show over the years.
Oh, boy.
And the deep, dark corners of the internet. Some philosophical,
all
some
the burning
fun.
questions.
Yeah, all the important stuff here. We'll start off.
Cool.
We'll start off easy. Would you rather be half your height or double your weight?
You asked me ridiculous questions like this last time.
Yeah, this is what we do here. This is what we do here. So you're talking what? How tall are you?
Double my weight.
Are you 6 feet?
Probably double my weight because it could be you didn't specify fat or muscle.
Oh,
if you go half your height, you're kind of stuck. But I could be just yoked and be double my weight.
Dude, if you put on your weight now in muscle, you'd be a freak. You'd be
Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, you would have to be like The Rock.
Right. Yeah. And again, so what's bad about that?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You win. Name a negative in that. Right. Okay. Whereas if I was Emmanuel Lewis, I might not have the career that I have.
Would you rather go 50 years in the future or 50 years in the past? 50 years in the past is what?
50 years in the past.
1996?
I know it's not that much anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah, right.
1970.
Yeah, 15 years in the past because I've been there. It wasn't too bad. 15 years in the future scares the crap out of me.
Oh no! First of all, it's 50, 50.
50, yeah, 50.
50.
Yeah, so we're talking 1970 versus 2000.
Yeah, I'd still go in the past because I was born in 73.
So you just get to live life again.
Yeah, you just get to double it up. Yeah.
Would you do anything?
But I'd get to start life. But I get to start life now at this point where I'm not retarded and learning everything.
All that knowledge. Done. So you do that rather than just go get to see what happens in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I have no interest in finding out what happens in the future.
I mean, it keeps getting worse.
All I know is Elon Musk is talking about us living on Mars. I don't want to fucking live on Mars.
No, that was a question floating around here.
I don't want to live in tunnels under red sand.
If they make commercial travel to space possible, let's say it's I'm
not going.
No,
I don't want to.
I don't think I would go either. I don't even like flying. I don't need the.
I'm terrified of space, man. Have you seen the movie Gravity? And that space terrifies me.
Yeah,
that whole weightless thing and silent. No, thanks.
Yeah, the silence would be weird. I agree.
I'm good.
I love it. I love the movies. I love to think about it and talk about it. I don't need to go there.
Oh, see, I think
totally. That's the beauty of the movies.
Would you go? Would you go chill in the space station?
Oh yeah.
Would you really?
Oh, for sure.
What would you do?
Just for the experience. I don't want to go on a mission for a year and a half where my DNA comes back changed. Yeah. But I'd go check it out.
That's kind of part of the trip.
I was gonna say, you don't get to change that.
You got to know your DNA DNA is going to be changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. If anything, it can only get better. Like, it's only going up. But I don't know. I just like to check it out, just see what space is all about. I'm surprised, like Kevin makes sense to me because Kevin doesn't like to travel much or anything. But like, you seem to me like a traveled man.
Totally, but traveled on this planet.
Yes, like you've probably been everywhere on this planet. Why don't you check out what's not on
another one?
I know. No. You do it. You tell me all about it, man. When you say like, what am I going to do? You're going to plant a fucking Brian Austin Green flag on the moon. That's what you're going to do. Okay.
I wonder too, like, unless Elon and company make it, let's say somehow they make it really easy, because I'm sure astronauts hear these things and they're like, oh yeah, like it's just
got to be pissed.
Like you're just hopping on a flight to fucking Dallas. You have to like break through the atmosphere, and you're shaking and sweating, and all that. It's not easy to be an astronaut, folks.
Yeah, can you imagine like being an astronaut during that time when it was super fucking risky to be doing it?
The real OGs,
and like just to commercially be able to do it now.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, we're did you buy your tickets to the moon? I did.
Right. I got it for my son for Christmas. It's like, I almost died.
COVID test. That's all.
Yeah. Right.
I just need a negative COVID test, and I'm on the flight to the moon.
All right. Can you still go to your barber if he's very racist? like the whole, like he's the best barber in the world.
Your hair looks perfect.
He's super racist.
And just the whole time he's complaining about Jewish people, black people. He's like, we gotta take our country back. Just the most vile America first shit you've ever heard. But when you walk out the door,
you look awesome.
My hair looks awesome.
Beautiful.
Yes, flawless. Everyone's like, wow, you got a haircut? You look amazing, dude. Can you do it?
Right.
Can you do it?
You look awesome. Your DNA has changed.
You don't have to agree with the guy. You can close your eyes. Like, I mean, most of the time you're at the barber, they're saying bullshit anyway. Yeah.
Right.
Most of the time you're just trying to ignore them. It's the same thing.
No, you can't go to that fucking barber. You gotta let that dream go, man. That's your hair won't just, you have to face the fact your hair is not going to be as on point, but you can't. That's how you change things fundamentally, is like by not going to that fucking barber, like until that barber has no clients and goes out of business. And then,
so you're saving the world.
That's one less racist.
Yeah. You're changing society.
I mean, you're right.
You're saving the world one haircut, one haircut at a time. Yeah, totally.
Would you rather lose half your dick's length or half your dick's girth?
I swear to God, you asked me that dick question last time.
I don't know. We got a lot of dick questions, Brian.
There's a lot of them, bro. I mean, girth matters. Girth matters.
All right, who's
you know what I always heard, which I don't know if I should admit it. But I always heard it's not how deep you fish, it's how you wiggle the worm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Who's more badass, James Bond or Jason Bourne?
Ooh.
Jason Bourne?
Yeah, that's the right answer.
I think
Easy.
it depends on what you define as badass, though.
Like James Bond, Bourne will fuck you up in close quarters.
Yeah, Jason Bourne he'll just fucking like hand-to-hand murder.
No
you.
doubt, but I'm saying if I were
James Bond like has all the cool tricks and the cool stuff and all that.
That's what I mean. Like badass to me also can mean he walks into the bar, he gets his martini, he's hitting on the girls, he looks smooth, he looks suave, he can control the room.
But is he James Bond when he gets home by himself? When he walks back into his house?
Right.
How fucking cool is he? Jason Bourne is always Jason Bourne.
But he's not cool. He can just fucking murder.
But it's not cool. The question.
That is kind of cool. It depends on what your definition of cool
exactly.
is.
Right. Yeah. You can be, you don't have to murder people to be badass. Jeez. Who would win in a fight? You
kind of do.
Yeah, I guess so, right? Who would win in a fight? 10-year-olds or 100-year-olds?
I would just love to see that fight.
Right? You know who wins? We do.
I would review that all day long.
Me too. Right? I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that was the fight. That's kind of like the fight that I heard about of you had there were like 20 little people and like 10 lions.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to see that fight?
Yeah, that's in here too somewhere.
Who doesn't want to see 10-year-olds and 100-year-olds?
I'm taking the 100-year-olds, by the way. I think everyone always takes the 10-year-olds, and I'm taking the 100.
10-year-olds are not.
But the 100-year-olds would be so easy to hurt. I mean, like a 10-year-old could run at 100-year-olds
like
and just like tap him in the knee, like just hit him in the knee, and it's like, oh, my knee, and then it's like, okay, there's 10 down.
All it takes, you need like one like World War II vet who's like 100 and he's still like, I killed a bunch of these.
Kill all you little fuckers.
Exactly. Just snapping necks and shit like that,
All
right. That 100-year-old happened to be Rambo.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Tying off, hiding in mud walls and shit.
Blood on his face.
Right.
For $100,000, would you spend 2 days carrying around a human-looking robot, and you had to introduce it to everybody as your girlfriend?
Woo!
I swear I just read this story.
Yeah.
Have you seen the story of the dude that's going to marry his
doll, his sex doll? Yep.
Yeah.
Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we dove deep on that one yesterday.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you gonna be that guy for $100K just for 2 days?
Just like, this is my girlfriend Komiko.
But you got to think for this guy. I mean, for the famous people, it's like TMZ and the celebrity outlets are all like, Brian Austin Green's got a new girlfriend.
You know what?
It's a doll.
You know what? I would because I would donate the $100,000 to charity.
Oh, smart.
That would be my fucking way of still being awesome.
That's a great loophole.
That's not a great loophole.
That's a great loophole.
You already have $100,000
loophole. Don't be jealous of the loophole that I found. You're just upset that you didn't find it.
Well, if I'm going to do it, I want to keep the money. It's not that I didn't think about charity. It's just I don't want to give it to charity.
I just don't like charity.
I need the $100,000. I earned that $100,000. I'm keeping it.
But there's no loss if all you're doing is carrying around and introducing a robot as your girlfriend, but people know you're donating the money. There's no loss.
Yeah.
I carry a Starbucks cup out, from Starbucks to my car. And I get nothing for it, but a cup of coffee. You're not fucking losing anything.
Last one here. Would you date your dream girl if for 2 days every week she had to dress like a juggalo? And you get to pick which 2 days, which matters.
And
matters.
You get to pick which juggalo. In fact,
Sure. You get to pick her makeup and her outfit.
Can I be out of town on those days working?
Could be you. Yeah, why not? That's what I mean.
Austin Green over here.
Yeah, look at the loopholes that I'm finding. See how I'm doing this?
Dude, I got a tweet the other day. You know how everyone's showing their wrap up of the year, Spotify, all the Spotify music they listen to? And this one guy, he showed me his top 5, and it legitimately had ICP in there. Like, people legitimately listen to the Insane Clown Posse, listen to Juggalo music.
I think it is
fucking insane.
I think it's I think it's pretty good rap, is what people tell me.
No, it's not, sir.
Have you ever listened?
Yeah.
Oh, okay then. I haven't, so I was gonna really go to war for the Juggalos.
I don't know if I ever have either.
I can't say I've given their album a listen, but I've definitely heard some Insane Clown Posse songs, and I've been like, this sucks. This is terrible. But I guess if you're a juggalo, man, that juggalo life. I mean, so you're in on the juggalo. You just ditch her 2 days a week. You're like, see you, hun.
Yeah. I just have to travel for work. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate the time.
Dude, it's so good seeing you guys.
Yeah,
again,
dude.
Man.
It's always a pleasure, man.
Awesome.
Hopefully we get through this soon and we can do this stuff in person again.
See that beautiful.
Yeah, I know.
mug.
This whole Zoom thing is crazy, right?
It sucks.
Yeah.
I'm over it. But
the novelty's totally worn off.
Right.
You can catch him on The Masked Dancer on Fox, and we'll see you soon for the next project. All right, man?
Take care, guys.
Thanks, bud. Catch you later.
Peace, man.
Listen, if you made it this far into the video,
which is far, like no one ever does that on the internet.
Like it's the end. You made it to the end of the video.
Full fucking video.
You watched the whole thing. So if you liked it and you watched the whole thing, why don't you subscribe?
It means you like us.
Click the subscribe button, because if you don't, I'm gonna fucking murder John.
And I'm gonna like it.
Kill him with my bare fucking hands.
Yeah.
And if you weren't sold on this video, there's plenty more. Watch what's next up and then subscribe. But just subscribe so I don't have to fucking kill him.
Well, I don't know. Do what you want, but subscribe. Probably.